Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow believers. Let's get it going. How are you doing? I feel like I've made a video in quite some time, when in reality, it's maybe just been about 2 or 3 days. We need a little reset sometimes, guys. Goodness, it looks beautiful. Winter is definitely starting to come now. I would say the majority of the fall leaves are done. We got a little bit of left, and I already thought about what coat I'm going to get, guys. I forward plan. I think about this. If I'm going to film here during winter, I'm going to order a nice, thick, I believe the brand is called Carhartt. That's how you call it. It's kind of trendy with like the e-boy TikTokers, but guys like me who actually work labor, we use these coats. I work in this coat. I'll most likely work in that coat with my good old work boots. So yeah, that blue collar coat, I can wear it. Anyways, guys, with that said, in today's video, a little bit of controversy on the name, as the past couple of days, but that's completely fine, guys. Sign me up. I told you guys, I'm telling you, like, if you are a Christian man, this is going to happen. People are going to, whether they falsely accuse or not, they're just going to be really kind of triggered by you. And I'll be honest, that is actually the point of today's video. And excuse my tired Asian looking eyes. I'm done drinking monsters, guys. I took your advice, or at least I am as of now. So
Yeah, like look, dude. I hope I'm not giving anyone the impression that I think every Christian should have this all sorted out forever and never practice this again. I understand. I've had my struggles with that, and I still kind of do struggle with it. Like I'm not like perfect, and I think none of us are perfect, right? But I'm just saying, like the goal would be to never do it. And as long as the longer you can go without doing it is better, right? And so that's what we should do. Not like, okay, for this month of November, I'm not going to do it, and then I'm going to do it again in December. That would be weird, right? That's right before Christmas. It's so weird. But anyway, that's all I was saying. But yeah, I'm not judging anyone if they have a struggle with that, and we all struggle with sins. So it's all good.
Guys, I'm done drinking monsters.
It's not good. It's not that it's all good, but like I'm not trying to judge anyone. Is all I'm saying.
That is actually the point of today's video. And excuse my tired Asian looking eyes. I'm done drinking monsters, guys. I took your
What do you
advice.
say? Wait, what do you say?
Whether they falsely accuse or not, they're just going to be really kind of triggered by you. And I'll be honest. So yeah, that blue collar coat, I can wear it. Anyways, guys.
What is this guy like? I don't know. He always has some weird opening. But anyway, now he's gonna say
in today's video, a little bit of controversy on the name. As the past couple of days, but that's completely fine, guys. Sign me up. I told you guys. I'm telling you, like, if you are a Christian man, this is going to happen. People are going to, whether they falsely accuse or not, they're just going to be really kind of triggered by you. And I'll be honest, that is actually the point of today's video. And excuse my tired Asian looking eyes. I'm done drinking monsters, guys. I took your.
You know what? You know how the Bible says that the world hated me, so they will hate you, and all this stuff. So people take that view, and then they think, and it's true. Like it is true, like to a certain extent. Like if you talk about Jesus, talk about God, people don't like it, right? A lot of times they'll just get mad and stuff, right? That's true. But it's also true, and we shouldn't try to like use that as an excuse. Like this person, he's kind of abrasive. The way he's talking in these videos, I always get annoyed too. This guy tried to talk to me like this. The way he's talking in this video, I would get annoyed. I'd tell him to get lost. And it wouldn't have anything to do with Jesus. It would just be that he's annoying and it's weird, So just because you're walking around talking to people about Jesus and people get mad, don't just blame it all on them, they're demons or whatever. Like think of maybe you're not saying it right. Or maybe you got to use a little bit more care in who you talk to about these things. Or maybe you need to set it up a little bit better. You don't just walk in and start talking to them about it. Maybe you need to get to know them a little bit or whatever, Don't always think that it's their fault or that they're demons or whatever. That's weird, Anyway.
That is actually the point of today's video. And excuse my tired Asian looking eyes. I'm done drinking monsters, guys. I took your advice, or at least I am as of now. So adjusting. Guys, as a Christian, as a disciple, let's put it that way, okay? Because not every Christian will do this. I mean, I do believe if you're a Christian, you are going to be much more inclined to doing this much more over the natural.
Okay, so that's the backloading type of thing that he talks. Like, this is the thing. This guy doesn't have a clue, He does not know. I mean, he's like, I'm sure he's read a lot of the Bible. Maybe he's read the whole thing. I don't really know. He seems like a very disciplined man. So I'll give him that. He's probably read the whole Bible or something. Or he's probably done a lot of Bible reading, But he doesn't get it. He doesn't know what he's reading. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he'll say stuff like this. Oh, I believe that once you're saved, you'll start acting whatever. What did he say?
I'm done drinking monsters, guys. I took your advice, or at least I am as of now. So adjusting. Guys, as a Christian, as a disciple, let's put it that way, okay? Because not every Christian will do this. I mean, I do believe if you're a Christian, you are going to be much more inclined to doing this much more.
Okay, so when you're a Christian, you're gonna be much more inclined to doing whatever he's about to talk about right now. But that's backloading, right? I hope everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you don't understand what backloading is, drop a comment and I'll be happy to explain.
Over the natural man, but specifically, guys, I believe if you're a Christian, you are going to be much more inclined to doing this much more over the natural man, but specifically, guys, new levels, new devils. The further we
So he thinks the natural man, I guess what he's talking about is like First Corinthians chapter 3, I think. But that's not even talking about just unsaved people. It's like it's the natural man. It's the man that has this natural mentality. You're thinking in a worldly way. Even a saved person could be the natural man. And an unsaved person is not necessarily acting like this natural man that Paul was talking about there in 1 Corinthians 3. But anyway.
inclined to doing this much more over the natural man, but specifically, guys, new levels, new devils. The further we carry our cross, the further we want to be like Christ. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11:1 to imitate me as I imitate Christ. But all these guys, just want to sit on their couch, or just a lot of Christians seemingly, and don't, guys, a lot of Christians don't actually read the Bible and they don't actually apply the Bible. I'll be brutally honest with you. Some of you guys say, oh, I think he's going to be brutally honest. Everyone reads the Bible, guys, but I would say 90% of Christians, yes, actual Christians, 80 to 90% don't apply it. It's just kind of like a self-help book. It's just tradition for them, right? Like every Sunday we go to church, we go to mass. I sing my Kumbaya, I sing my John 3:16, my dear Father who art in heaven, and then that's it. They kind of live like
you get a lot of these guys, like they think that, I mean, this guy's very, very into it, right? He's very hype about it. And I'm sure, like the way he talks, it sounds like he reads his Bible a lot, right? And so now he thinks he's like better than other people, and he's being very self-righteous, and he's saying that all these other Christians, they don't read their Bible enough, or if they do, they don't apply it, which implies that he's like applying it, right? And whatever he thinks he's applying, he thinks he's applying it correctly. But none of this has been demonstrated for us, right? He's just saying a bunch of stuff. I do kind of believe him that he's trying to apply it, but when he says things, you can see he doesn't even know. So how could he apply it? He doesn't know what he's even reading. How could he apply it properly? He's applying it in some way, but is it the correct way? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And the fact that he's got this kind of like weird, like this is a lot of people do that too, like where they apply their kind of, and it's a lot of conservatives, right? But it's like that they apply their mentality, their own thoughts about what's right and wrong, and they assume that's what Christianity is about or what the Bible is about. Like he seems to think like conservative values are good or something. That's why he was talking about how Christianity built the West and stuff, right? So people that talk like that, they'll often get into this idea that conservatism is basically Christian values, but it's not, right? It's just, there has a lot of commonality because he's right that these societies used to be Christian societies, and conservatism always wants to go back into the old way, into the traditional way. So conservatism has a lot of parallels with right Christian thinking, right? But it's also got a lot of things that are completely out of whack with the Christian way of seeing the world,
like the world, and I if they're born again or not, hey, that's up to them and God. But what I will say, guys, is for the Christians, for us, it's my encouragement to you guys who really are applying this, because this is the literal bread of life, guys. I don't apply this because like, oh, I'm cooler than people or I'm better. I do this because this is what we're built to do. That's our blueprint.
This is the literal bread of life. What does he mean by that? Does he mean the Bible? Is he saying the Bible is the bread of life? What's this guy saying, man? Anyway, that bread of life thing, right? Like there's this thing that the Bible is kind of like our food and stuff, right? But there's that metaphor, right? And so I guess that's what he's talking about. But the bread of life thing is about believing in Jesus, right? It's not about doing anything or reading the Bible or anything like that. When Jesus says he's the bread of life, and if you eat of him, you will never die or you'll live forever, right? He's talking about believing. That's what that is, okay? Please, I hope everyone understands that.
Because like, oh, I'm cooler than people or I'm better. I do this because this is what we're built to do. That's our blueprint. The Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. A lot of people think that like, yeah, I'm saved. That's it. Let me just sleep and fap all day long and do nothing. You've literally just begun, okay? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because
a lot of people think I'm saved, so let me just what? Who thinks like that? Really? Do people think like that? Are there people who think like, okay, I guess I'm saved, so I don't have to do anything, so I can just fap all day? What? Who thinks like that? Doesn't I mean most people who get saved, they're thinking like, I should follow Jesus. You know, I should do what Jesus wants. And maybe they're not succeeding at that, or maybe they kind of fall off the wagon or whatever, or they even leave the faith or whatever. But I don't think there's too many people saying, "Okay, I'm safe, so I'll just sit around and fap all day." I really don't think that's a common thing. David Hammond, I don't know where you would think that.
This because like, oh, I'm cooler than people, or I'm better. I do this because this is what we're built to do. That's our blueprint. The Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth. A lot of people think that like, yeah, I'm saved, that's it, let me just sleep and fap all day long and do nothing. You've literally just begun. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole because you guys know my take on that, but you're like,
No, but that's the thing. Even I don't. Is that what he's trying to say about free gracers or something? What is he just? What is he saying? What did he just say there? What did he just say? But I guess it seems like he's saying at least you know what what's good. I think what he just said. It seems like what he's saying is I'm saved, so I can fap all day. Then maybe he thinks that it is OSAS. Maybe he does think that because if he's saying that, it sounds like he's thinking that could potentially somebody could potentially do that and still be saved. But I don't know. It's very confusing what this guy's
you've
saying.
literally just begun. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole because you guys know my take on that. But your life now begins. Okay, you've like literally just pressed start in the game. You were in RuneScape tutorial village chopping down your trees before, but now you're in. You understand? What are you gonna do? Just do nothing? Just stare at your phone all day long and make reaction videos about people? Get up, be a man, go do stuff. All right, be a disciple, pick up your cross. What a joke. And
What are you gonna do? Sit on your phone and do reaction videos all day about people? I'm doing a reaction video right now, right? But what is he talking about? What is like? I don't even understand what this person is saying. Is he like? Is this supposed to be? Is he trying to make a point here? What are you even talking about, bro? And it's like, so some people they get saved and they just want to fap all day or something. Some people they get saved and they want to make reaction videos on their phone. What are you talking about, David Hammond? What are you even saying? What are you trying to? Are you trying to make a point? Can you make a point?
with that, guys, the more we as Christian men apply this word, the bread of life, man shall not live on bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God, the living waters, oxygen. You understand? So beautiful, man. I'm so glad that we have a book that literally tells us and commands us. It shows us how to live as men. Without that, bro, I'd probably be a degenerate, just banging more women, out in the world, kind of being like the majority of people. And even Christians, I'll be brutally honest. That's why you guys need channels like mine that get persecuted daily. And with that, I would argue that the more you
Persecuted daily. Like this is the thing. These people, like, if I make a video about this, right? If I cut this out and I make a video about it, he's gonna say that I'm persecuting him. That's what he's gonna say. That's what this guy's gonna suggest. But you know what? Why does he think he's some great Christian? Like even the way he talks, man, it's like offensive. The fact that he said the word "fap," and excuse me, I feel bad for even saying it myself. The fact that he said no, not November. He just said I'm gonna go bang all these women or whatever. Like, dude, why are you even talking like that? Is that a Christian way to talk? Why don't you talk better? That would be one good thing you could do. That would be helpful to everyone because you're talking to thousands and thousands of people every day or whatever. How you're making videos, tens of thousands of people are listening to you. So one good thing you could do would be to talk in a more Christian way than this weird way.
be brutally honest. That's why you guys need channels like mine that get persecuted daily. And with that, I would argue that the more you follow this path of discipleship, you aim to be more like Christ. You want to pick up your cross. You will trigger people. Amen. That's the end of the video. I want to read a verse, guys, and we're really going to kind of like base this.
That's the end of the video, but it's not. And also, yeah, of course, if you all, what does it say? All who live godly will suffer persecution. All, right? All who live godly will, not might, but will. I think it's First Timothy 3:12. But yeah,
entire video off this verse. Now, this is speaking to unbelievers, right? As Christians to unbelievers, which is going to be big. But I would go so far to say that it applies to Christians too. Maybe not this exact verse, but
sorry.
I would even say probably
that
applies
was
more to Christians than non-believers.
Sorry, that was second Timothy 3:12. Okay, I'll get that. But anyway. Okay.
Because and I was just speaking to a good friend. I'm going to give you guys the verse in a second. I was just speaking to a good friend, like a excuse this funky lighting, you know, kind of like a bigger conservative-ish guy, if you want to say. Very smart dude, and he was telling me, he was like, David, you know, the biggest threat, the biggest enemies to this Christian movement are not the atheists, right? You guys have seen there's a lot of stuff on like Jubilee with like Charlie Kirk versus like 25 liberals, all that stuff, right? He's like, because he speaks to them, like this is kind of what he does. He's like, David, you think those would be the biggest enemies, right? Like the liberals, the atheists, the people who are not Christian. He says, no, David, the biggest enemies are the people who are Christian, who are conservative, but they're not keeping Christ at the forefront center. So I guess we could say that, like, because they are Christian, but they're conservative without Christ. Because he says these are the people that have kind of like,
oh no. What I was saying that typical. I wasn't responding to your comment there. I was responding to what he was saying, because he is talking about how when you talk about Jesus, or when you live a Christian life, then people are gonna hate on you or whatever. He's saying something like that, right? So that's what I wanted to address. That's the only reason I said that, but I wasn't trying to say anything about what you said. I actually agree with you. What he's saying is basically a persecution complex, because they'll go around and they're talking about Jesus or talking about whatever, and the people are like, "Hey man, dude, just chill out or just get out of here. Like, I don't want to hear your garbage." And then they think like, "Oh, it's because I'm Christian, I'm being persecuted," you know? And that's what he sounds like to me right now. Because, dude, like you're just annoying and you're abrasive and stuff, bro. And you're just weird. You're talking weird stuff, man.
Could see that, like, because they are Christian, but they're conservative without Christ. Because he says these are the people that have kind of like, think of like the wheat and the wheat and the tares, right? If you guys know the parable, when the farmer was sleeping, he was kicking back. There was an enemy, right? We could say it's Satan or just whoever, like a random guy came in and he was growing I believe it was wheat, right? And then he threw in a bunch of tares, right? A bunch of these seeds that look like wheat, right? They blend in, and you're really not going to know until they're fully harvested, right? That's a lot of Christians, guys. And again, I'm not saying because it's a very,
but that could be you, David. And I'm going to suggest, David, that is you, okay? That you are one of the tares. You are one of these people who is teaching a false gospel of works, who is leading people to hell, okay? And maybe you're saved or maybe you're not. I don't really know. I really don't. I know when I talked to you that day downtown that you were saying that that you don't believe in work salvation. And so maybe at some point you weren't as confused as you are now, but now you're confused. Now I'm pretty sure I've seen other videos where you were talking about some work salvation. So you might not think of it that way, but it is. And even just now, you said that I'm pretty sure everyone who's saved will act in a certain way or something, that they'll do something, or they'll have some inclination or something like that. You were saying that before. That is also a works-based salvation, because that's like you're suggesting to people that when they get saved, they will have these certain things, certain behaviors, or certain feelings, or certain thoughts. And so when they think that, they will look, that's like a work in another way. Even though they don't have to do it before they get saved, they'll feel like they have to do that once they get saved. And it's very dangerous, and also they won't even be saved if they believe that. So you're very, very wrong about what you're preaching. It's very dangerous. I would suggest you stop it immediately. And I would not suggest you get into this persecution complex. I'm not persecuting you. I'm just telling you the truth, okay? So you're persecuting yourself, and you're persecuting other people with your false teachings.
we harvested, right? That's a lot of Christians, guys. And again, I'm not saying because it's a very gray area. I'm not saying, oh, all these Christians. I don't know who is born again, who's not, who's in between. I don't know. But what I am going to tell you guys, and don't let any other person tell you otherwise, it is not as easy as just black and white. And if it was, guys, there'd be no such thing as Judas. There are a lot of Christians, guys, that look Christian, that speak Christian, that squawk like a Christian, but they're not regenerated. They're not born again. And it's.
See, this type of thought, like, obviously that's true. But once again, David, I was just like, according to what I believe, according to what you're teaching right now, you're very likely one of those people, okay? Because we get saved, we get born again when we believe in Jesus Christ for everlasting life, right? First, like John 3:16. Okay? But you seem to believe that once we believe and get born again, that we're gonna have this change of behavior or change in our thinking or something. And that kind of belief, that kind of understanding of salvation is not salvational. You'll actually won't be saved if you have that kind of view. So I don't know if you've always had this view. Maybe at one point you didn't, and maybe you were really saved. I hope so. I hope that you're a brother. But even if that's true, like what you're teaching right now is very dangerous, it's very damaging, it's very spiritually not good. Okay, so I would suggest you stop what you're doing. Maybe maybe take some time to study the Bible more closely. You can get in contact with me, I can help you. But we did talk once before, and you seem to think you got it figured out. But I'm telling you right now, you don't know what you're talking about.
that speak Christian, that squawk like a Christian, but they're not regenerated. They're not born again. And it's almost impossible, I'll be honest, with like really being able to tell. Because with Judas as an example, guys, I know I'm kind of verbal processing a bunch of things. Just bear with me, little kid. That's how I run my videos. Judas like was with the 12. Like you'd think that the other 12 would be able to like pick him out to be like, oh yeah, clearly this is the bad guy, right? Clearly there's something wrong. They couldn't even do that. So, and this is why, guys, this is where it's really tricky. It's really tricky. Like we really have to test spirit.
It is tricky. It is tricky. It is tricky. This is the thing, David. Just like how they couldn't tell about Judas. Hey, Nick, what's up, brother? Hey, glory to him. What's up, brother? We're supposed to love the brethren, but how can we tell who is a part of the brethren? Let's talk about that. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But for right now, because this is kind of what he's talking about too, right? So let's see what he's saying about it, and we'll address that, and then I'll get back to your question, which is a good one.
That's why, guys, this is where it's really tricky. It's really tricky. Like we really have to test spirits. That's in Matthew 7. That's an example, guys. I know I'm kind of verbal processing a bunch of things. Just bear with me, little kid. That's how I run my videos. Judas like was with the 12. Like you'd think that the other 12 would be able to like pick him out to be like, oh yeah, clearly this is the bad guy, right? Clearly there's something wrong. They couldn't even do that. So, and this is why, guys, this is where it's really tricky.
So it is tricky, David. This is what I'm saying to you. You don't even know if you yourself are one of the saved ones, or if you yourself are a Judas. Okay, because you're going to say to me, oh, well, I believe in Jesus. Judas didn't believe, so I believe, so I'm saved. But you don't believe in a right way. You believe in this works-based way. And you're going to say to me, as we said, as you said to me downtown in front of Eden Center that day, you're going to say to me that you don't teach works. But I'm telling you what you're saying when you say, oh, everyone who's saved is going to have this inclination or whatever you were saying before. That is works-based salvation. Okay, you may not think of it that way, but it is. We can talk about it. But you're very much like what you're saying about how we have to test the spirits and stuff. Have you tested your own spirit? Or have you thought about it? Because when I test the spirit and I test you, you're failing. You're failing. You failed already. Anyway,
there's something wrong. They couldn't even do that. So, and this is why, guys, this is where it's really tricky. It's really tricky. Like we really have to test spirits. That's in Matthew 7. That's in 1 John 3:15. And just be vigilant, man. That's all I'm going to say.
1 John 3:15 is not test the spirits, David. Okay, it's not test the spirits. That's not what it says. Don't do that.
That's in Matthew 7. That's in 1 John 3:15.
It's all right. He said, "I believe." He said, "I believe." I do that too sometimes. So whatever. But I don't even think that's even close to there, because I think it's more like test the spirits. Where is that? Wasn't that at the beginning of John chapter 4, 1 John 4? I don't even know. Anyway.
Tricky. Like we really have to test spirits. That's in Matthew 7. That's in 1 John 3:15. And just be vigilant, man. That's all I'm going to say. Be vigilant. Not everyone who claims to be a Christian is a born again believer. Okay. And if I say this, certain communities get very butthurt and start flailing and making videos saying, "You fruit inspector." I'd rather be a fruit inspector and be sure, be safe than.
Wait. Oh, you see? So now you're digging yourself worse now, bro. You're telling me, oh, test the spirits. Well, look, I do test the spirits. That's why I look at your videos. And right now you are failing. You're failing the test. I am testing you right now, and you're failing. Okay. First of all, you thought that the test of spirits is in is in 1 John 3:15. It's not in 1 John 4:1. And now you're saying some stuff about, what is he saying?
Hey, be vigilant. Not everyone who claims to be a Christian is a born again believer. Okay, and you know, if I say this, certain communities get very butthurt and you know start flailing and making videos saying you fruit inspector. I'd rather be a fruit inspector and be sure, be safe, than you know do what happened to Jesus. And this is what's going to happen to a lot of you guys.
No, David. You don't understand. Being a fruit inspector means that you're not safe, you're not sure, and in fact, you could be unsaved yourself. You know, if you have the mentality where you think you could fruit inspect Christians, meaning you think that a saved person will have some kind of indication that they're saved in their behavior or something, aside from the mere fact that they told you they believe, right? You're actually saying you can look at their behavior or how they live or something and tell through your fruit inspection. Well, that's telling me that you don't understand salvation, that you're backloading. You're backloading works onto the gospel. You're saying that a person doesn't need works to be saved, but once you're saved, you will do the good works. And so once a person thinks like that, right? Then if they are saved, they're still going to look to their works to confirm their salvation. So that takes away all their peace, all their joy. Because every time they sin, they're going to think, well, what if I'm not saved? I sinned. Or every time they do good, if they start doing a lot of good, they might start thinking, okay, I'm saved, so I'm righteous, I'm good, I'm better than these other people. It doesn't, no matter what you say about that, when you start telling people that after they're saved, they're gonna do better or live better or whatever, it's bad. It's a bad teaching. And if a person is unsaved and you teach them that, they won't even be saved. They won't be saved by believing in Christ because they're not believing in him 100%. They're also they're partially putting their faith in their works. And maybe that's what you've already done. So maybe you're unsaved yourself. And I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings or anything. I want you to be saved. I want to see you in heaven. Okay, but you're very confused, man. And like your teachings are wrong and you're not teaching it right. And I understand lots of people make videos about you and they attack you or whatever. I'm not trying to look. I guess a lot of free gracers, they go after all these guys, they get angry and they say all this kind of stuff. And I do that too, you know. But I've actually met you and I don't know, I feel really bad right now. And I don't want you to continue on this path, you know. So I hope you'll listen to what I'm saying and change. But this is really, really bad. This is really bad. This is literal heresy. The Bible doesn't say this, what you're saying here. Your fruit inspection thing, it doesn't say that. But find me the Bible passage that says that saved people will have this different way of life. Why is the New Testament authors always telling us to stop sinning, to live a better life? They keep telling us to do that because you could get saved and not do that. You know? Anyway.
You're going to get betrayed by these people and you're not going to know because you didn't want to be politically incorrect. I don't care about being politically incorrect. Anyways, though, with that said, the verse, guys, is I believe it's in Corinthians. Let's read it. Such an amazing verse. I mean, Corinthians, I think probably my favorite epistles is the Corinthians, to be honest. I missed you guys, man. I've made a video in a little bit and it's like, daddy's home, man. Like, you guys think I'd be gone because of like reaction videos? Boy, I run this channel. Give me a break. Calm down, David. Calm down. I'm just kidding, guys. Come on. This is 2 Corinthians 2:15, all right? It says, for we are to God the fragrance of Christ, right? We're the fragrance of Christ. I got that good smelling fragrance. We are the fragrance of Christ among those who are being saved. Hey, amen, right? But don't you find that funny? Like, they're being saved. Ooh, them hypey, whatever you want to call those Christians. They don't like talking about this stuff. There is such a thing, guys, as being saved, as in like you are coming to Christ. You are not yet regenerated. You are not yet born again. You're on the trajectory. You look like a Christian, but
Nah, bro. Nah, that's different, man. Not everything. Not every time you see the word saved is it talking about being saved from hell, first of all. Okay, but that's not what he's talking about there. He's talking about being saved like in this life, from different things in this life. Okay, he's not talking about going to heaven and stuff. You're confusing people now. It's when you believe you are born again. You are immediately born again. That's what it says. 1 John 1:12. Like, what does it say? As many as received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God, right? Even to them that believed on his name. And then in the very next verse, who were born, they were born again, not of God, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. So that's what happens when you're born again. He gives you the power to become the son of God, and you're born again. That's what happens. It's not a thing that happens over the course of your life. It's not a thing that happens when you die. It's the thing that happens as soon as you believe. That's what it says. John 1:12 to 1:13. Read it. This is very bad what you're doing here, man. This is really, really bad. And I feel bad. And I understand you're getting a lot of attacks from the pre-gracers or whoever. So maybe you feel like you're being persecuted. But actually, I'm trying to help you. Okay. So please don't look at it like that. Just look at it like I'm giving you some tough love or whatever. I'm not trying to hate on
They
you,
don't
you
like
know?
talking about this stuff. There is such a thing, guys, as being saved, as in like you are coming to Christ, you are not yet regenerated, you are not yet born again, you're on the trajectory, you look like a Christian, but you're not saved yet. And that's what these guys can't understand. I've never hear them talk about it. It's just, oh, he said he is, so therefore he is 100%. What a joke, man. Grow up.
What a joke. Grow up. No, David, you need to grow up. What a joke. Really? That's what you think? Because you read that line in the Bible, now you think you got it all figured out. You're gonna tell 18,000 people, man. You have another channel too, right? So tens of thousands of people are listening to you. And what do you do? What do you know? What are you doing? Do you understand how dangerous this is? Obviously not. You think that what you're doing is right, but what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Have you really checked it out for sure? Do you really know? I know you believe certain things, but how do you check? How do you know that your interpretation of the Bible is correct and another person's is not? How can you possibly know? You don't know that book clearly. I mean, you probably read it a few times or whatever. You don't know how to like. You obviously don't know it like that well. You're just kind of reading your thing off your phone. You're like, oh, Corinthians is one of my favorite books or whatever. Listen, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not like well trained in the Bible or anything. Why are you talking about
Never hear
this?
them talk about it. It's just, oh, he said he is, so therefore he is 100%. What a joke, man. Grow up. For we're to God the
Grow up. Grow up. You should grow up, man. You're the one who needs to grow up. You're coming out here. I get it. I get it. You got saved. You got excited. It's very exciting. It's very wonderful. Okay. Or you think you're saved or whatever. We can't even confirm that you're saved based on what you're saying. I get that that's very exciting and you want to share it. You want to get people saved. I get that. I get that, man. But that doesn't mean that everything you're doing is right and that you can't do wrong because you're doing something very wrong right now. Very dangerous and very wrong. You don't know the Bible and you're out here trying to teach it to thousands and thousands of people. How do you know you're right about everything you're saying right now? What do you know? Those people that were telling you this that they don't see this passage this way, right? How do you know they're not right? Like like I'm like that. I think that you just get saved as soon as you believe, and it's not something that happens over your life. Okay, would you like to debate this, or are you gonna sit there and think that you got it all figured out? And you're gonna teach your thousands and thousands of people this stuff. This is really bad, man. It's really bad.
fragrance of Christ among those who are being saved, right? That
Hey,
was me
what's
3
up,
years ago.
bro?
I was being drawn towards Christ, John 6:44, right? And among those who are perishing.
Yo, shooters. We were talking about you the other day. Eh? Everybody's like really sad, man, actually, about you, eh? People are like literally like literal tears. We were crying, dude, and stuff, you know. So come back around to the faith. But anyway, but you're gonna come on the show, right? In December, we'll talk about it.
Right on, man. Grow up. For we are to God the fragrance of Christ among those who are being saved, right? That was me 3 years ago. I was being drawn towards Christ, John 6:44, right? And among those who are perishing. Right, I want to read you guys the next verse here.
See what they do. See what they do. Like he's like, oh, he thinks like, okay, being saved, that's a thing that happens, it's a process. And then he goes to John 6:44. He's like, oh, that's what that is. So when you're being drawn, that's when you're being saved. And that's what Paul's talking about here. And it's like we could just connect things all over the Bible. That's like a normal way to read it. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly logical. He thinks that. He literally thinks this, right? And so now he's suggesting that there's this process of being saved, but now he's saved. Now he's done. He's done. He's done. All right. He's already in now. I think that's what he was saying. I don't know. It's kind of weird, confusing what he's saying. But he just went from Second Corinthians to John 6:44, and he thinks it's all about the same thing. This is so ridiculous.
For we are to God the fragrance of Christ among those who are being saved, right? That was me 3 years ago. I was being drawn towards Christ, John 6:44, right? And among those who are perishing. Right, I want to read you guys the next verse here. I'm telling you guys, not everyone who says that they're a Christian is a Christian. Are you born again? Anyone can believe. Demons believe, right? I can believe Jesus is a historical figure. So what? So what? Are you born again?
No, 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 no. First of all, the demons, what does it say? James 2 says the demons believe that there's one God. But believing there's one God is not what gets us to heaven. And James is not suggesting that the demons believe and they have the same faith as a Christian or that they could go to heaven. It's not anything to do with that, okay? So don't think that's not what that is. All right. And you're not understanding these passages. All right. I understand you've read a lot of Bible. I get it. I get what happened. I see what happened. I see what's going on here. I think what's going on here is you're a very disciplined, hardworking man. And so when you got into the Bible, you just went out all into it, all like feet first. You dived in, and now you know lots more than almost anyone you know. You know lots more about the Bible than practically anyone you talk to and anyone you know, right? And so now you think you're kind of like an expert, kind of, right? And you figure you know how to do stuff like this, like connecting Second Corinthians to John 6:44, and that's just you think that's normal theological practice and normal hermeneutical way of understanding the Bible, but you're wrong. You're completely wrong, and what you're doing is dangerous and bad, and you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your viewers. Okay, so I'm just telling you, I'm not attacking you. I'm suggesting that you stop doing this, what you're doing. Do something more like in line with anyway, you got to learn more about the Bible before you start trying to teach it. That's the first thing I would suggest. If you want to have like some red pill YouTube channel or whatever, if that's what you think Christian men need, you want to do Christian red pill or whatever, do that, man. But don't tell people how to get saved. Anyway, you know what? Actually, I shouldn't even say that. You should just delete your channel. Just delete them, man. Delete this one, delete the other one, okay, and just stop doing this. This is really bad and dangerous, man. And again, I'm not attacking you. I'm telling you the truth, okay? If you want to talk to me about it, we can do that, okay? I am from Toronto. You could email me or whatever, or we could talk. We could talk on the podcast or whatever, okay?
The next verse, 2 Corinthians 2:16. To the one, it's very important. To the one, we are the aroma of death, leading to death. You understand? So, like, there are going to be people in the world, guys. You're going to trigger them, and they don't know why they're triggered. Well, because when you're a beacon of Christ, when you're actually a born again believer, not no like pseudo fake Judas looking Christian, but a born again believer, guys, your spirit naturally just emanates and it triggers them. That's a lot of the.
No, you see what he's saying now? Now, like, what do you think, dude? What are you talking about, man? You think just because you're born again, if you are, that you're just emanating some energy and people are just gonna start getting mad at you? Is that what you really think, dude? And you're teaching this. Thousands and thousands of people are listening to you, man. This is the word of God you have in your hand. It's not just your little stupid phone thing app that you have. It's the word of God, man. You don't teach this to thousands of people and just teach something that you think. You didn't check it. Did you check that? You checked it carefully what you're talking about? The theology, the soteriology, all that stuff. Do you know what you're talking about? No, you don't. You don't have a clue. But you're on some like red pill workout, like be a man's man stuff, and that's what you think. And you think because you think you have that philosophy and you have some kind of knowledge of the Bible that you can link that and just start teaching the Bible. That's wild, dude. This is crazy, man, what you're doing, bro. I'm doing it. Look, I love you, man. I'm not trying to hate on you, okay? I don't want you to be hurt by this. This is hurting you more than anyone else. But you are hurting your thousands of listeners, too. This is wicked, bro. This is super bad. This is really, really bad. Really bad what you're saying right now, okay? I can't remember what you were saying.
And they don't know why they're triggered. Well, because when you're a beacon of Christ, when you're actually a born again believer, not no like pseudo fake Judas looking Christian, but a born again believer, guys, your spirit naturally just emanates and it triggers them. That's a lot of this community that I'm dealing with here. I do believe, I'm going to hope that the majority of them are saved, but just by your presence alone, you're going to trigger them. Okay, I'm sorry to break it to you guys.
So no, that's insane. That's insanity. What you're saying right now is complete insanity. So this is what happens, David. The other thing, which you can read in your little Bible, you can check this out. 2 Peter 3:15-16. Okay. Many of the writings of Paul and other scriptures are very difficult to be understood. Okay. And so when you come along and you don't have you're unlearned and you try to understand the Bible and teach people and stuff, then this is what happens, man. Now you're literally becoming like mentally unstable now. You're literally saying that just anybody who's saved, you're just gonna trigger people. Just because you're saved, you're just gonna trigger people. That is absurd, dude. That's not what the Bible says, not what it teaches. Or it's just, I mean, I don't know. The Bible doesn't teach stuff, but it's not what it says. That's not what it says. Okay. And if you think John 16, when he talks about the hate you, they hated me, they will also hate you. That's talking about them, the disciples, man. It's not talking about every Christian, every single Christian that ever lived is going to get hated on. Every saved person is going to trigger everyone around them and stuff. That's ridiculous. The superstitious nonsense, man. Okay. And again, I'm not attacking you, but this is wicked. This is really, really bad, dude. I'm telling you, man. I'm doing this because I don't hate you, man. Okay. I want you to not like ruin your life and ruin the lives of thousands of people who listen to you. Stop doing this. Stop teaching this. Do you know the Bible? Did you go and study the Bible for years and years? That's what most people do before they start teaching it, you know? They'll study it for years and years. They'll go to school before they start teaching it. That's what typically people do. That's what I did. Did you do that? No. So I'm not saying everyone has to go to school, but at least you got to do a lot more work than you've done. You don't understand what you're talking about, man. Your knowledge of these things is so low level. There's no way you should be teaching it at all. Okay. I'm not saying as a Christian, you can be a brother to your fellow Christians. You can have a YouTube channel and be a brother. But when you start teaching stuff like this and you don't even know the doctrine yourself, you don't even understand what you're reading. You're just teaching people this stuff. This is wild, man. Anyway, you guys, you know what? I'm just gonna
channels that they could pick on, but they like me. All right. And
no. It's because once again, I'm not picking on you. Okay, don't try to play the victim here. You're victimizing people. You're victimizing your listeners. You're victimizing me. I just subjected myself to your talk for that much time. I am the victim here, not you. Okay, I am the one who has been hurt by this, and all your listeners too, man. You're not the victim here. Okay, you are victimizing people. Anyway, look, David, if you want to get in touch with me, my email is in the thing, or or just join my Discord or whatever. We can talk, right? And I can help you. Okay, I can. You're confused right now. We can talk about the Bible. I'm not trying to say you have to like follow me, become my follower. I'm not trying to say that, but I can help you. I can help you to understand the Bible better. These passages that you're reading, you don't get them, man. You don't get it. Okay. And I don't know, man, but yeah, don't stop this. What you're doing there is really wrong and bad and dangerous. Okay, I'm telling you. You think you're helping people? You're not. You're hurting people. Okay. But anyway, thanks.
Okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike and Pat. These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you want to support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shills. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks. Becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike and Pat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.